Hey, how you doing? Nope, my name's not Norm. I'm the lawnmower lady, and I like fixing small engines. Today's video is going to be a little different. It's going to be how to remove and replace the blades on a Greenworks battery-powered mower. This particular one has dual motors, and they actually run in opposite direction. One runs clockwise and one runs anti-clockwise. So it makes it kind of easy to mess things up if you're not careful. Follow along and I'll show you how this works. Alright, this is on a Greenworks, a model 25302. This is an older version, but I think the rest of them are all virtually the same. Cobalt makes one. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same manufacturer. Again, this is a dual battery model. The blades turn in opposite directions. They conveniently show that to you there. Make sure you have the batteries removed. You don't want this thing starting on you while you're messing with the blades. And if you're having a problem with anything other than the blades on here, I'd direct you to another YouTuber by the name of Bald Eagle 242. He has an awesome video out there on all kinds of troubleshooting, electrical, wiring, and motor problems. I'll post a link to his video below in the description. Okay, so I have this mower turned on its right-hand side, and as you can see from the cutting edges that this blade turns in an anti-clockwise direction, and this blade with the cutting edge down here turns in a clockwise direction. And if you look very carefully on here, this actually says blade number 1, and this one here says blade number 2, and it has a lock and unlock direction on there. I'm going to write a number 2 in here, so I will know where it goes with a white grease pencil. But the really important thing is that there is also a lock and unlock symbol on here, showing you that this nut turns normal lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. Blade number 2, it shows the unlock symbol and the blade turning that way, which actually means this is a left-hand thread, and so you would want to do lefty-tighty, righty-loosey. This is where you can really mess things up. These nuts take a 15mm wrench, and I'm going to use a block of wood to keep the blade from spinning. You can use your hands, they're not on that tight, but I prefer a block of wood. And remember, the top one is normal lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, and incidentally, the owner's manual, because I went to look up the tightening torque spec on this, and the owner's manual is has it backwards. It says this is the left-hand thread, and that's the right-hand thread. But regardless, you still got to torque it to the right spec. So keep in mind how this comes off. This is the locking nut right there. There is a plastic connector piece there. And you can see by the dirt and wear it goes on one way. There is a square washer that actually isn't completely round. There's 2 flattened holes on it which actually match the shaft. You need to keep these separate and remember how they go. The last thing is this blade adapter, which has these 2 protruding plugs, and one of them is round, one of them is a half moon shape. So again, these have to go back in the right orientation. The last thing is this actually, I'll need to clean that up. There's just a sort of a bushing that goes on there. It's a little rusted up right there. So to replace let's get our block of wood in another good place, because this one we're going to tighten to loosen. Let's see if this is a good direction here. Yes. All right. Again, the opposite. You clockwise to loosen this. And the same thing here. This is the left-hand thread nut. You don't get those backwards. Again, it's got the metal plate with the flattened sides on there. The blade itself. The blade adapter, again, with its half moon. And then here is the, this one comes all the way off. This is this bushing that goes on here. So you can lose those, but no reason to take them off right now. All right, so I've sharpened the blades. I'll post a link to another video on how I sharpen blades. But now it's time to reassemble this. And this is blade number 1, which goes on the top of the mower. We're going to reassemble all the connecting parts. As you recall, there's the mounting bracket. And you can see by the wear and dirt line of which way this goes on. Obviously, the half moon has to fit in there. The next thing that goes in is the square nylon piece, and you can also follow along. This only goes on one way. The really dirty side goes on the back, and you can see the outline of where the square washer was. And again, round hole here, but this is actually sort of squared off on the sides. It's not a completely round hole. We're going to put that on, and then we will assemble this on the mower, and we're going to assemble the other blade number 2, and then we'll torque that down. Okay, so I've got a configuration with some wood blocks in here. It's all plastic housing. You want to be sure not put too much strain on that. But according to the owner's manual, and again, remember it's backwards. It says that this is the left-hand thread, but anyway, it's on this side. You cannot use a standard clicker-type torque wrench because these are not designed to torque accurately in the anti-clockwise direction. So I will be using an older style beam called a beam style torque wrench, and the way this works is this beam sort of stays flat, and as you apply torque in one direction or the other, this pointer here will show you how much foot-pounds you are. And according to the manual, it's 300 to 400 inch-pounds, which is what this is. That translates to 34 to 35 Newton-meters, or 25 to 33 foot-pounds if your beam style is in foot-pounds and not in inch-pounds. So we have both of our blades assembled, but the really critical thing you have to keep in mind is this shaft is keyed, and it matches up with the straight sides on here. So when you put this back on, you want to make sure that this goes all the way in, that it's not sitting on the outside, but it has to click all the way on. I don't know if you could see that go on that way. So we're going to assemble this. This, it doesn't matter which way it goes on, other than the bevel side of the blade goes to the deck of the mower, just like any mower. And this fits all the way in. And again, we want to make sure that the flat sides are all the way down. There we go. And then we can start this nut. Again, this is the left-hand thread, so it's going in the opposite direction. And then we'll torque this down to 300 foot-pounds. Okay, so I'm going to put the torque wrench on here, and hopefully you'll be able to see the business end of this torque wrench. Let me spin the camera just a little bit. And again, we're going anti-clockwise, and you can see we're just barely above 100 foot-pounds there. And it's just getting into view, and that's just right at 300 foot-pounds. So I think that's good for that one. Alright, so I've rearranged our piece of wood, and we're going to be torquing this one down to 300 inch-pounds in the clockwise direction. Wheel's kind of in the way. Let's see what we can get to there without having to rearrange it. Okay, that's right around 250. And one more. Maybe turn the socket a little so it'll still be in the camera view. Alright, so there we are. Right around 200, 250, just above 300. Alright. Okay, remove a block of wood. We're going to make sure that both blades are tight. This one rotates anti-clockwise, and there's no grinding, and this one rotates clockwise, and that sounds pretty good. Alright, so there you have it. That's how I remove and replace the blades, the dual blades, on one of these small battery-powered mowers. Remember, the owner's manual for this particular one is backwards. telling you which blade is which. Just pay attention to what's stamped on the blades. That'll give you what's the lock and unlock direction. And I apologize, I kept saying foot pounds. It's inch pounds, inch pounds, inch pounds. I'm so used to saying foot pounds. Sorry, guys and gals, about that. But if you have any other problems with your mower, electrical, wiring, motor issues, starting, key issues, whatnot, Bald Eagle 242's got a great video on how to troubleshoot all those. All right, if you learned something, please push the like and subscribe button, and I can make more of these videos. I really appreciate you watching. Remember, I'm the Lawnmower Lady, and as I like to say, mow happy. Thanks for watching.